We are talking Oregon State football. I'm joined by their new head coach. He was introduced as their head coach on Friday. He was with Wisconsin for a couple of seasons where he went 19-7 overall. Oregon State's coming off a 5-7 season. They will open up against Weber State on September 5th. I'm joined by their new head coach, Gary Andersen. Gary, it's nice to have you back. How are you?
Jim, how are you?
Good, Gary. So bring us up to date. You had a tough loss in the Big Ten championship game. Gary, at that point, was there any part of you that was not expecting to be coaching Wisconsin in the bowl game and for years to come?
No, I completely expected to be at Wisconsin. The Oregon State thing was, nothing more than a coaching change had taken place. And, Oregon State I had tremendous respect for. It was always a program that I thought would be a great place to be. But it was Wisconsin trying to do our best and get ourselves into the championship game first of all, which we did. And then obviously we didn't fare so well on that day.
Gary Andersen joining us. So, Gary, when that Oregon State opportunity came up, what was your reaction? And did you know immediately that that was the place where you wanted to be?
Well, I knew it was a place I was immediately interested in. I was excited about the opportunity to at least communicate and see the direction of the program. And, it's important that I always tell recruits the people behind the desk are the most important part. When I was able to meet with the administration and see their vision and their goals and what they expect in the future as far as the facilities that they're going to build and that commitment to the program, I instantly became very, very intrigued. And, like I said, from afar, I had great respect from this place through recruiting, competing against them on the field. I'd been here once to play. I also competed against them at the University of Utah. So there was a lot of things that I saw from afar that really impressed me, and that did nothing but grow as we went through the education process.
You're talking about this right now, but I'm curious. The school president, Ed Reyes, said that he had prepared a 5-minute pitch for you. It's not a very long pitch. In fact, he said he didn't even get to the end of it. What did he say that got your attention so quickly?
Well, I had done a lot of education prior to that. It's just their belief in the direction that they're headed. I didn't have to hear a lot. I knew that this was a place that I just believed was a fit, and as we went through the process, it became clear and clean that this is where I'm supposed to be, and I was very excited to be there. And just the direction and the want to and the care factor of putting this place into a special place. Coach Riley did a fantastic job over the years. Obviously, he has quality kids in the program, and it was a great fit for me. And, don't get me wrong, I left some quality kids too. I understand that, and love those young men there at Wisconsin, but this was just the place I needed to be.
Oregon State football coach Gary Andersen joins us. Gary, there are no easy jobs, but Oregon State is thought to be one of the toughest jobs around. Do you see it that way?
Absolutely not. There's challenges everywhere. I've been in this very familiar situation. The size of town, I love the college town, the atmosphere, the relationship that the students can have here with the student athletes, and what the student athlete can get from a social standpoint and athletic standpoint and the academic standpoint is exactly I guess it fits me as a coach. And I've done this long enough to know that there's fits and certain spots where you believe as a coach you can succeed. It's a challenge. They're all a challenge. There is, like you said it best, there is no easy jobs. And I look at this job as a place that we can be very successful with quality kids, and looking right now to put a great staff in place that allow these kids to learn a lot of football. And at the end of the day, players make plays, players win games, and we'll recruit like crazy, and got some great kids here. We're looking forward to working with them.
Gary, there were suggestions that you were frustrated by the academic standards at Wisconsin. How much is there to that?
That's not a factor. At the end of the day, it was there's academic standards at every institution, and I think the key thing is that when you sit back and you look at it as coaches, you've got to. Sometimes we all have to understand to check your ego at the door. We all need to do that, whether it's you're involved in athletics. That's the key. And for me, I need to make sure I go where I believe I can affect kids' lives, and this is where I believe I was led to affect kids' lives. And Wisconsin is a tremendous place. I love Coach Alvarez. Look forward to my relationships in the future with Coach Alvarez and the athletic department. There's frustrations everywhere. Every job has its frustrations. But to say that I left Wisconsin because of the academic scenario, that's not a truthful statement.
You mentioned Barry Alvarez. What was your communication with him like during that process? Did you guys only speak at the end, or were you speaking throughout the process? How did that go?
Yeah, we did. We spoke, and I'm not a believer in completely wasting time. I wanted Coach to make sure that this was not a leverage situation for me. I didn't walk into his office or Walter Dickey's office and sit down and say, hey, I've got a chance to leave, and this is a leverage scenario. It was not that at all. It was a fact that by the time I got to that point, I knew that was what I was going to do. My wife, Stacy, was at peace with the situation and the scenario, and we went in and we discussed it. Coach didn't agree, obviously. He wanted us to stay there and be part of that program, and it was a difficult few hours, but I think after we got through that, he understood what direction I wanted to go, and he was, he handled it very professionally. He gave me an opportunity to talk to the team as a whole team. He gave me the opportunity the next day to have my office open roughly all day long for the young men to come up that wanted to sit down and talk to me one-on-one, and I had a number of those kids that were able to do that. So I would say Coach handled it professionally, not happy about it. I understand that. I don't expect anybody to be happy in those situations, but it was a difficult time for myself, Coach, the kids in the program, but I thought it was handled professionally.
Gary Andersen joining us. You mentioned your wife, Stacy. Let me ask you about one of the kids in the program. In fact, your son, Chasen. I mean, it's got to be a tough conversation to have with any of the players there, but what about Chasen? What types of conversations have the two of you had about that move?
Well, it was hard for Chasen. I felt like he needed to be educated in the process. He was on that team. He was part of that team. I wanted Chasen to be educated in the process the way the rest of the team was. So Chasen's he's a young man now. He's not a 13, 14-year-old kid. He's not going to be living with us here. He's out on his own, and he was given an opportunity to hear it just like the rest of the team was. I think that, that maybe that took him a little bit by surprise. I get that. That's just what I thought was best as a dad. I thought that was best as a coach. And, he's excited for his future as he continues to move forward. He's had an opportunity he was a walk-on at Wisconsin. He went through a great semester there. He had a great time there, made some great friends, but he's decided that he's going to, go back to play at Utah State and be on scholarship there. He's excited to join his twin brother at Utah State and continue his education.
All right, so you did a great job of laying this whole thing out for us. Final thought, what's your message to Oregon State fans about what a Gary Andersen Oregon State team is going to look like?
Well, we want to be a team that, looks to succeed with our kids as coaches, academically, socially, and athletically. We want to put a product on the field that they're going to be proud of. We want to get the offense in this league, you got to have an offense that can move up and down the field and score points. So we're going to tweak it a little bit. We're going to play with our best players on offense, but we do want to have some pace to our offense and do some different scenarios. Aggressive special teams that can change the game in our favor. On defense, we want to do what we've done the last 3 years. I think we've been aggressive. We've played good, solid defense. We've given us a chance to win most games with the way we played on defense, and that is the key. But, as you build relationships, I want these kids to know we're going to be there for them, and I want the community to know that we're going to put the kids first. And there is more important things in football. If you take care of the things that are more important to football, which is the social life and their academic life, football will take care of itself.
Oregon State football coach Gary Andersen joins us. Gary, thank you very much for the visit. Good to have you back on.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. Go Beavs.
Go Beavs. Go Beavs. We'll talk to you again next season, Gary. Thank you. Go Beavs.
Gary Andersen, the new head coach of the Beavers, joins us on the Doug Gottlieb Show on CBS Sports Radio. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, Doug. How are you?
I'm really well. Take me through how this process came to be. You play Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. When were you alerted to Oregon State's interest in your services?
It would have been a couple of days. I've been asked that a few times. It's a whirlwind. So it would have been a couple of days after that, whether it was on a Monday or Tuesday. I wouldn't really know off the top of my head. But, the interest for Oregon State was there in my mind for a long time. I just never think Coach Riley was going to leave. I thought he was going to be a lifer here and had done some great things. But I gained a tremendous respect competing against Oregon State and also recruiting against Oregon State for many years in my time at Utah.
Okay, but you're obviously a Utah guy, a Big Sky Country guy, and you knew and respected Oregon State. But you're at a pretty good job, and you just won 10 games with a Heisman Trophy finalist. And I know, so help me out with. There's a lot of chatter about it. Give us the reality. Why leave Wisconsin for Oregon State?
Well, it's a simple answer, and no one wants to buy that answer for me. I got into the conversation with Oregon State. It became very apparent that the direction that they were heading fit myself and what I believe in as a head coach, and the ability for them to be able to take the next step. You were right. I was at a tremendous place. I had tremendous kids. I think there's times and a place for all coaches to, coaches, administrators, whatever it may be, is you got to look at yourself in the mirror and check your ego at the door sometimes and do what you think's best for yourself. Maybe not so fast. How about thinking about where you're going to go in the direction and what you've built in your own mind with kids and what have you, and the people that you can affect. And that was, I did around a lot of great kids and had some great influences on some young man's life at Wisconsin. But I felt like in my mind, I know that this is where I was supposed to go, and that's the easiest way for me to sum it up after I was educated on the direction and where Oregon State plans on going in the future, and I'm excited about being part of it.
Like what? Like what specifically draws you to go like that's something I want to be a part of? What specifically did they say?
Well, I think the positioning of the program, where they want to go, the facilities that they're turning around and building, the kids that are in this program are a very, very good fit for me overall, and I'm excited about the area that you get to turn around and you get to recruit.
People will say that it's hard to coach under Barry Alvarez, a great coach in his own right. It's hard to follow Brett Bielema, who went to 3 Rose Bowls. These are the things that made the job in Madison more challenging. How accurate is that?
Well, I would say this. We won 10 games. We won 9 games. We won our side of the conference. We did some great things with some tremendous young men, and I was just fortunate to be a part of them. So following a very successful program and what Brett did, I have great respect for Brett. Excited to meet him one day. Never had the opportunity to meet him. He's a great coach. He did some tremendous things. I think whoever walks in there right now is going to follow 2 staffs that did a tremendous job. As far as the Barry Alvarez piece, that's absolutely not true. Barry Alvarez is a Hall of Fame athletic director, just like he is a coach, in my opinion. Does he want to be involved in football? Yes, he does, just like he does in basketball, women's hockey, men's hockey, so on and so forth. But he does not stick his nose into football. He wants to make sure the student-athletes are taken care of, and that is the bottom line. That's another reason why it was so very difficult to leave, because I had to walk into that guy's office and sit down and talk with him and Walter Dickey and let them know of my intentions, and it wasn't there for leverage. It was there because simply I explained it the way I explained it to you, and a lot of people look at that and say, I'm not buying it, but that's okay.
Did they try and talk you out of it?
Whatever they want.
Did they try and talk you out of it?
There was discussions about the ability to want to stay, but I didn't even get into those discussions. And, yeah, I mean, they weren't kicking me out the door.
Was it just that it wasn't home?
What's that?
How much was it? I mean, and look, and I know that Oregon is not Utah, but it's closer to kind of that style, that lifestyle when you're at Utah State, where you're building something to be Division I. Was it the place to live? Was it that it wasn't home yet? I mean, I know how it is. Your first 2 years is hard. How much of that played into it?
None. My children are grown up. They're in college. They're taking care of their own business. Stacy and I were very, very happy in Madison. Have very good friends there who will last a lifetime for us. So it was, again, it's really impossible to sit down and explain unless somebody can just factually sit there and say, yep, he did it because I get told where I'm supposed to go, and I believe I'm going to follow that lead.
Gary Andersen joining us, the new head coach at Oregon State. Doug Gottlieb Show, CBS Sports Radio. What went wrong against Ohio State?
Against Ohio State, well, we played a tremendous team. If you're going to play a team that's that good on offense, defense, special teams, we got dominated in the turnover battle. We were ineffective running the football, and if we couldn't run the ball, we were going to have some problems. Ohio State made some tremendous individual plays with the ball in the air. 4 or 5 times we had our ball, we had our hand on the ball. They had their hand on the ball. They were able to come down with it and continue to make great plays at the wide receiver position, and the quarterback did a nice job of placing the ball. Kind of steamroll from there. You get in those moments and those situations. In college football today, there's going to be times when you got to score a bunch of points to win, and it takes a solid defense and offense and the special teams to hang in a game like that, and it may have ended up being, 40-42 or whatever it may have been, and whoever knows is going to win if it gets to that point. But we were unable to functionally play on offense, defense at a high level at all, like we had been all year long. And all the credit goes to Ohio State. Urban, his team, his staff did a tremendous job of having their kids prepared, and I thought our kids were prepared, but we just on that day couldn't make plays. So, I look at myself in the mirror when anything goes like that. It's my fault. It's my problem.
Melvin Gordon has announced his intentions to go to the National Football League, or at least everybody believes that's a formality. He had that incredible game against Nebraska. He had a remarkable season, a remarkable career. What type of running back do you think he is at the next level?
I think he's a great running back in the NFL. And I don't know what no NFL guru or never will plan on being, but if I look at him in college and his work ethic, his toughness, his care factor for others, and his God-given ability all put into one is unbelievable. And he's worked extremely hard. for the 2 years I knew Melvin on getting better and taking his weaknesses and making them become a strength. So he'll be a big timer in that league, and I believe he's going to play for a long time. And the other thing this year, I think he showed how durable he is. He can get the ball 20, 25 times a game, and he can handle it and pound the rock and come back and recover the next week and do it again. Gary
Andersen, head coach at Oregon State, joining us on the Doug Gottlieb Show on CBS Sports Radio. What does it say about your new athletic department that they took out an ad in the Oregonian on Sunday morning to congratulate the U of O, Oregon's Marcus Mariota, on winning the Heisman Trophy? What does it say about the people you now work for?
Classy people and people I'm excited to be around. That's the right thing to do when a tremendous accomplishment takes place like that in your own state. Yeah, it's a rival. There's still tremendous respect between rivals. That's what makes it a rivalry game, is that they respect each other. And but in this case, that is an unbelievable accomplishment. And Oregon sees it. I mean, you got to sit back and say it was a tremendous, tremendous team, and they're still playing, and they're playing for some special things. But Marcus is a great player. I think well-deserving of that award, and classy people here that were able to take out that ad, and I commend them for doing it.
All right, pitch me. I don't know if you know this. My brother's an assistant coach in basketball, okay? So he's at Oregon State. He's an assistant, and they've had a very good recruiting year, okay? So let's just say I'm a let me grow a little bit here. I'll be a 6'4" quarterback prospect from Tustin, California, and we get on the phone the first time, and I say, Coach, listen, I know you had Sean Mannion. He's a pro-style quarterback, but, Oregon State, and I got SC looking at me and UCLA. Why Oregon State, Coach?
How well do you run first? Let's check you out a little bit.
I got some agility. I got a little waggle. To me.
You move around a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, good. Then we'll continue on with the conversation. That's good. So if you sit back and you look at Oregon State, and what is it all about? Well, quite simply to me, it's an opportunity to succeed socially in a great college setting. It's an unbelievable college town. It's an unbelievable college community, the type of college community that I personally like. I'm not really interested in going to a commuter school where I grew up in a commuter school, and at 8 o'clock the doors open, and 5 o'clock the doors shut. I want my kids and the players I coach to have an opportunity to have a true college experience. Number two, academically, you're going to get yourself in a spot to have a degree. We're going to push you to get a degree to go through life and take care of whatever you decide to create, whether that's a wife, children, just take care of your family.
Coach, I don't care about academics. I want to get to the league. How do I get to the league?
And you're coming to the wrong place, man. We don't need to talk anymore.
All right.
How about that one?
That's a good one. Listen, Riley was good at the at the training table now. So there's big challenges there. My brother and staff will report back. So let me know how the training table goes. There's a little kerfuffle there, trying to get your own space at the training table. Let me know, okay?
Really? There's issues at the training table? Huh?
No issues. It's actually he actually raves about the facilities in the town as well.
Well, I'm bringing in a D-line and O-line coach. You might have to fight for food, so you better be careful. Tell him to watch out.
Yeah, he's soft. He's soft little midget basketball coach. Coach, congratulations on the job. Thanks for being stand-up and joining us on CBS Sports Radio.
I appreciate it. Take care. Go Beavs.
Hey, Coach. We listen. Put him back. I got one more thing for him. Is he still there? Coach, you still there? Hey, I forgot to ask you. When you left Utah State, you told us you called every kid, right?
Yes.
What'd you do at Wisconsin?
Two things. Coach Alvarez allowed me to have a meeting with him after I talked to him, so I had a team meeting with him. Got them all together prior to a practice and told everyone in the situation, including my own kid, because my own kid was on the team. And
Did he know? Did he know?
No, I thought it was important that he learned just like his teammates did.
So,
he did not know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a team meeting.
Yep, and then the next morning I asked Coach Alvarez if I could have the day in my office to get rid of my stuff out of the office and be able to give the kids the opportunity to come up and meet with me one-on-one or as a group, whatever they wanted to. So I was there for about 10 hours, and I don't know, there was a large number of kids that came through, and I was able to say goodbye to one-on-one, which was fantastic.
All right, well, maybe this is the last time you have to say goodbye to kids.
Hopefully.
And move across the country.
Yeah. Gotcha.
All right. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Kevin. All right, thank you.